Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd, and welcome back to Fallout New Vegas Survival Mode with the JSawyer Mod. And today I would like to do something a little bit different. Rather than doing one particular quest that we'll be doing and touching on quite a few little quests, actually, some marked, some unmarked, today I'd like to look over something particularly interesting in New Vegas. Not really the focal point of the game, something that's a real focal point of Fallout, but not really such a focal point of New Vegas, because that was too busy doing other things and generally being amazing, and that is the vaults. Now, the vaults in New Vegas are interesting, and I would say arguably the vaults are possibly one of the weakest bits of New Vegas. There's not really much of a criticism. Even the world's most delicious cake still has to have a weak part. The icing might just be slightly less delicious than the rest of it. It's still delicious. There's still great vaults in Fallout New Vegas, and we're going to start with my personal favourite. And I imagine pretty much everyone's favourite vault in Fallout New Vegas. In fact, we are just heading around to that now. But there are some interesting things. I think there's a really interesting discussion to have about the vaults in Fallout New Vegas, and that is what I would like to do today. And we are going to kick off as a starting point by actually heading around and finding ourselves. Well, first, we're actually going to get an unmarked achievement, albeit it'll become marked when we've actually got it. And the achievement is Find Vault 11. And you do that by finding Vault 11. The stage of the quest related to the Finding Vault 11 achievement is you need to find Vault 11. So if I just go around here and find Vault 11, there we are. I've discovered Vault 11, and I've found Vault 11 by finding Vault 11. 1 out of 1. Got some extra XP for that. Yes, indeed. The quest, Find Vault 11, you need to find Vault 11. It's a very odd quest. So, interesting vault to start off with. We've got nothing here but a handful of mantisors and bark scorpions. No sign of humans or anything, but if we just step inside, straight away we will find ourselves skeletons and guns. Now, you want to pay quite close attention to these here skeletons and guns. But before we do that, let's just head over here to this terminal. Security recording vault entrance.
Are we really gonna do this? It's open. We could just leave.
I couldn't. Not after that.
We don't deserve to leave. A shining example. That's what it called us. But we were. We did what we were supposed to. Not by a long shot. Anybody would have done what we did.
You ask me? That's exactly the problem. Now let's get on with this.
I'll go first. Wait. People should know what happened. They could learn from it. If there's anyone out there at all, I hope they never have to find out. Ready, Harry? Yeah. No, wait!
A group of 5 people discussing something terrible they did that they hope no one ever finds out about. What have we got here? 4 skeletons, a gun dumped on the ground, and an open vault. These people were planning to kill themselves, but in the end, one of them got cold feet, killed the other 4, dumped the gun, and then ran. As far as I know, we never find him. We never actually find, like, who it was or anything. There isn't an obvious skeleton anywhere nearby or anything, but something horrible was done in this vault, and it's a beautiful introduction to a vault story. This is just a classic vault, this vault right here. It's absolutely pure classic vault. Something horrendous happened here, and now it's all creepy and dark, and you have to go around and figure out what it was happening. You don't have to. You could very easily just run through this vault, scavenge it, steal all the stuff. You could even kind of brute force your way to the end just by kind of exploring every corner and never know what the story is. But if you do, oh, it's so lovely. And did I just see over here? No. I thought I saw a lying congressional style, but my own eyes were lying to me. And if you just look around the walls, you'll very quickly figure out roughly what's going on in this vault. Something about an election. In fact, the unmarked quest that this vault actually contains. It's an unmarked quest with a ridiculous number of XP attached, by the way. It might actually be the highest amount of XP awarded for an unmarked quest in the game. I need to double check that, but I think that is the case. It's called Democracy in Action. Haley is a known adulterer and communist sympathizer. Elect Haley for overseer. Don't vote for Glover. His family needs him. There's a load of posters here, but clearly people don't actually want to win this election. Nobody wants to be overseer. So let's crack on a little bit, shall we? As a starting point, we've just got some basic stuff to kill here. We've just got some rats and whatever. Weirdly, I've just found an NCR trooper here. I don't remember you being here previously. Are you supposed to be here? I don't know. Also, there's, I think, a unique room in this that you don't generally find in any vault whatsoever. There is a cigar lounge. This vault just has a cigar lounge. with, as you probably expect, well, actually, a carton of cigarettes. I'm not sure. Wait, the cigar box? I'm not sure the cigar box existed in this game. I think that was only actually in Fallout 4. So sadly, there's no cigars in the cigar lounge. There's just basic cigarettes instead. But yes, there was actually a cigar lounge here. So that's nice. But anyway, ignore that and head round to the classroom, which is right by the entrance point. Because there's a public terminal there, so we can learn a little bit more about this rather cool vault. So 3 entries, Vault 11 Election Guide. Dear fellow Vault Dweller, congratulations, your dedication to the democratic process is the bedrock upon which the continued stability of Vault 11 is based. Now, to help you make your decision for this year's election, the coalition of Vault 11 voting blocks has put together this handy Dweller's official guide to obtaining overseers democratically, or do good. I like that acronym, that contains a summary of the leading candidates for Overseer, as well as their statements, key positions, and most importantly, endorsements. Sincerely, Roy Gottlieb, Chairman, Coalition of Vault 11 Voting Blocks, President of the Justice Block. So, obviously, some of these names are already familiar to us from the actual posters. Candidate Henry Glover. Endorsement, the Utilitarian Block, the Divine Will Block, the Allied Service Workers Block. I am a devoted husband and father of 6 beautiful children. My oldest, Sam, was on the honour roll this quarter, and I couldn't be proud of him. My youngest, Henry Jr., just said his first word, and it was Dada. We've got this bond already, and he's still just a baby. Friends, when you go to the polls this election, I want you to think of your own children. Then I want you to think of Sam and Henry Jr. Picture their faces. Nate Stone should be overseer, not me. And Donna Haley, of course, according to the posters we've seen around, a known adulterer and communist sympathiser. Dear, oh dear. Endorsement by the Human Dignity Block, the United Vault Technicians Block. I'm aware of the rumours circulating about me. I want everyone to know that they are vicious lies being spread by other candidates in a desperate smear campaign. I have never in my life done anything so depraved, let alone for such things. But even if I had, that still wouldn't mean you should vote for me. Consider the fact that I am grossly underqualified for the position and that both of my opponents are far more deserving. I know nothing about governance. You would be hard-pressed to find a worse candidate than me. I can promise you that my administration would be a disaster. You know what? I approve of a politician who's honest for once. And then Nathan Stone, endorsements by the Justice Block. This is ridiculous. I shouldn't even be a candidate, and I wouldn't be if it weren't for all the dirty backroom politics going on around here. It's sickening. You should all be ashamed. And that last one, of course, is a little bit interesting. There's something going on here. He's not playing the game like the others are. But instead, we've got a notice of postponement here. Fellow citizens, due to the tragic events of the past few days, the coalition of Vault 11 voting blocks has unanimously decided to postpone the election for Overseer pending further investigation into the murders. Your security team wishes you to know that they are working tirelessly, day and night, to find the perpetrator and are already following up on a number of promising leads. God willing, if the killer is apprehended swiftly, we may have found a promising new candidate for Overseer. Sincerely, Terry Hart, President of the Human Dignity Block. And finally, Overseer Order 745. Effective immediately, the traditional selection process for Overseer is hereby ended. In lieu of a yearly election, a citizen will be chosen 1 month prior to the start of his or her term with our mainframe's random number generator, ensuring complete impartiality and fairness. Catherine Stone, Overseer. Now, isn't this interesting that Catherine Stone isn't even one of the candidates listed here? Instead, we have candidate Nathan Stone, who said it was ridiculous and the backroom politics were dirty and stupid. Now we've got Catherine Stone issuing an order abolishing these elections. So what has gone on here exactly? Oh, I love the story. It's so interesting. It's not overly complicated, but there's lots of interesting depth and stuff to it. I do love it. And if we head in here and interact with this terminal to see if we've got anything else, we don't have anything else, but more importantly, we've got a trap, and I didn't back away far enough from it either. Good job, me. So given we know this vault went to hell, the final few survivors fled, and then the animals moved in, so no one else has colonized this vault since. One of the vault dwellers was starting to actually sabotage computers. There was attempted murder going on down here beyond what we already know about. And as we head down into the living quarters and we get to the first main room, we start getting a choice. We have got dorms and admin. Let's start off with the dorms. The male dorm, why not, eh? I've decided not to waste ammo, by the way. I'm just going around with Salt and Wound's power fist punching everything in the face, and it's working just fine. I'm enjoying having unarmed this damn high. Though admittedly, as the male dorms and the female dorms do actually loop into each other, there is actually a connection between the two. I'm not sure why you really bothered separating them in the first place, but never mind. Now, the dorms are very important, however, because they are full of these dressers. These dressers are good because they're full of jumpsuits. I'm going to start collecting these up because we're going to be needing them later. Also, leaf blowers, an interesting thing to bring into the vault. Literally the most useless thing I can imagine in a vault, in fact. In one of the male dorms, however, we've got a personal terminal that's actually locked. Very easy to unlock, though. I'll just do that nice and quickly now. So the same stuff we've seen before, but this time we've got a security recording.
She can't do this. It's done. We're done. Nothing's done. She's got the authority. The only thing she can't do is change her own fate. Nothing says she can't change the selection process for future overseers. I say she can't. You shouldn't have toyed with her like that, Roy. We still have the majority. We don't vote for anything anymore. I'm not talking about voting. What then? You want to have a sit-in? A hunger strike? Not exactly. Maybe march into her office with torches and pitchforks? Yes. Come on. I mean it. What? Start a revolution? Laws don't outlast their governments. Roy, all we have to do is wait until someone from Justice Block gets picked for overseer. Then we have them change the law back. There won't be any blocks after the new overseer is picked tomorrow. Everyone's going to move on. By the time we've reformed, who knows if we'll still be in the majority? We can hold the block together. You don't know that. Besides, what if the computer picks you? What if it picks me? And your solution is to start shooting? Not if we don't have to. Look, we arm up. We go to the lower floors, take some strategic targets. Power, food, water. Just until she turns authority over to us. The other blocks won't support it. They're tired of us having the power. We have the majority. We don't need them. This isn't a vote, Roy. They'll fight back. They've never had the nerve. Hell of a way to test it.
So that was, sorry, I should have mentioned before we began that, the Justice Block HQ security tapes. So it appeared that somehow Nathan Stone's wife ended up actually being the overseer, even though she wasn't actually originally on the ballot, and her first order of business was to change the process so it wouldn't be elections anymore, and thus these blocks that we keep hearing about, who decide who gets to be overseer when no one wants to be overseer, henceforth they won't have any power because it will just be a random number generator. They decided to respond by restoring the old system by force, or trying to at least. So let's head down to some of the areas they said they wanted to take over. They said security, food, etc. So we've got security and a security terminal right here. And this is from the deposition of the defendant Catherine Stone by Vault Attorney Gerald Miles. And now we figure out who Catherine Stone is. Okay, let's pick up where we left off, Kate. Catherine. Sorry, right, Catherine, I keep forgetting. My husband calls me Kate. You were telling us of a discussion you allegedly had with Roy Gottlieb of the Justice Block. Not allegedly, had. We've been through this. It's still just your word against his, Miss Stone. But please, the discussion. He said my husband's name had come up in their meetings. The candidate endorsement meetings. Yes. They said they were going to endorse him. He wouldn't say why, but I know my husband had a regular poker game with some of them, and he'd been on a winning streak lately. And according to you, what did Mr. Gottlieb offer? He said he could sway his block, prevent the endorsement, but only if I... Only if you what, Catherine? Only if you perform sexual favours. Yes. Was this just for Mr. Gottlieb? No. All the block leadership. They're friends. And you agreed. What else could I do? They had a majority. How long did this go on before the endorsements came out? I don't know. A month, maybe. And when they came out and your husband was endorsed, despite your supposed agreement, was that when you decided to kill members of the block? Yes, I thought their majority is pretty slim. If I thin things out a little, especially in the leadership, someone else might get elected. Assuming you weren't caught. No, Mr. Miles, I expected to be caught. That was my best chance. Now they'll elect me. A confessed murderer? You think voters will be willing to risk putting you in charge? They have to pick somebody and live with their reasons. Yes, but wait and see. So, the true horribleness comes out. And of course, we know that Mr. Gottlieb is Roy Gottlieb. And we know that in the tape we just heard, the guy specifically said, you shouldn't have toyed with her, Roy. So this woman, at a threat to her husband's life, was blackmailed into basically being passed around by a whole group of men who then went on to actually nominate her husband anyway, despite what was previously said, which is deeply unpleasant. So she started killing them. And of course, given someone had to be elected, and indeed, just like the note in the classroom said, well, you know what, if we find the murderer, that might be a good person to elect. And indeed, that's exactly what they did. She got elected, and while she couldn't change her own fate, she could change it for the future. So yeah, that is how Catherine Stone got elected in really, I mean, that's dark. Even by Fallout standards, this woman being blackmailed with a threat to her husband's life and then passed around by a group of men who basically admit in order to just toying with her, that is dark by Fallout standards. And just next door to this little security office, we have got ourselves another security office here. Hard locked or hard locked, but that's fine, I can do both. And inside the security office that they presumably seized pretty early on as part of their attempted coup. Nothing major, to be honest. Mini nukes, whole bunch of ammo boxes, might well be useful to you. Still further and further down into the lower levels, and the Overseer's office right at the bottom. In a room full of tripwires and shotgun traps, somebody set up a bunch of traps in this here room. And we've got an Overseer's terminal here, but that requires a key, so we'll be back for that later. Down here on the lower levels is where things start getting a bit interesting, of course. They said they wanted to seize this lower level. What have we got down here? Sandbags, piles of ammo, and human skeletons. People died down here. In fact, quite a few people died down here, because there are quite a few skeletons sitting around next to ammo, guns, skeletons. Yeah, a lot of people died down here. This was not as simple as simply occupying this area and waiting for the politics of the area to change. No, no, no. There was a bloodbath in here. We've also got down here, of course, the flooded area, which is where you get the stuff for the Brotherhood if you're doing the quest for them to fix the infiltration system. I can't remember whether there's anything else down here, but just in case there is, I'm just going to quickly explore it, given I do actually have the rebreather anyway, though I don't believe there's anything down here aside from just like the odd few bits of like ammo boxes or generic loot or whatever. I don't think there's anything special down here, aside from, yeah, just the... Actually, I'm not sure you even need the rebreather. I think you can just swim through here. If we open up this locker, there it is, differential pressure controller. Not going to need that ever, because the Brotherhood are already dead, but you know what? It doesn't weigh anything. I may as well carry it just in case I've ever got some pressure to differentiate. Yeah, actually, you completely don't need the rebreather for this in the slightest. You could so easily just swim along the surface here. Fine, never mind. Still deeper and deeper down now, and now we have made it down into the reactor level. And can I just say I love having Sneak 100. It's hilarious just sneaking around and punching mantises to death. An average locked door will cut us through to a new bit of the vault up above, but I want to quickly visit the extremely underwater bit, the properly underwater bit. Now this is what the rebreather's for, damn it. So, crack open this door, and now we can do some proper exploring underwater, thanks to that bloody rebreather. Honestly, I don't remember there being much down here. It's just more kind of ammo boxes, generic loot, and what have you. Interestingly, yeah, I would have thought they'd really put the Brotherhood stuff down here, where, you know, it's a little bit more inaccessible if you don't have the rebreather, but I guess maybe that will be a little bit on the harsh side. Still, this is a nice area. I think this is the area you have to go through if you, yeah, if you don't actually have a lockpick 50, you need to go down this way, which might take a couple of trips just because these doors are actually a little bit slow to open. You could probably just about pull it off. Nothing much down here, it just lets you skip a 50 door, in which case let's just ignore that and head on our way up towards, I believe it said, the cafeteria. Yes, indeed. Well, we have got yet more sandbags and more skeletons, so the coup went very, very wrong. The Justice Block completely misunderstood how badly this was going to go. You'd also find a whole bunch of dead mantises floating around. When you do, that's normally because there's mines in this level, but if you're a little bit slow to go through it because you want to like read all the terminals or whatever, there's a good chance all the mantises will hit the mines before you even get to them. Fun thing that's easy to miss, by the way, you may have noticed in the opening room we had the I Hate Nate posters. They have been overwritten with I Hate Kate further into the vault, which is kind of fun. More mantises in the corner. Haven't seemed to have detected me yet. Still haven't. God, I love Sneak 100. And in what is referred to as the atrium, but in this case seems to be way more about democracy, that clearly being the vault experiment going on is something to do with this voting system. On the podium at the front of the room, we have got ourselves a prepared speech of Gus Olson. Okay, let's have a listen what he has to say. Each year it is the appointed task of the Ombudsman not only to officiate the election, but to chronicle it in the hopes that after the last overseer has finished his term and walked to his death in the chamber beneath his office, and the vote has become still, that one day some excavator from humanity, or perhaps some yet unknown race of super beings, might find our records and incorporate them into historical canon. But lately it's occurred to me that's not really why. I think the real reason we do it is because we want to believe that somewhere in the archive there's an answer to all of this, or perhaps there will be one when the historical records are completed and the whole story is told. We want it to make sense, to understand why the Vault's mainframe will kill us if we do not offer one of our own as a yearly sacrifice. To fully comprehend why we continue to have these elections despite the unfettered corruption that has plagued it for what must be decades by now. There was a simpler time when elections meant shaking hands and kissing babies, but now with the rise of the voting blocks and this infestation of bribery, drug trafficking, smuggling and God knows what else, we want to know why. Well, I've been through the archives and I can tell you, you won't find the answer there. You'll find an account of the first overseer who entered the vault as the only citizen aware of the sacrifices that would have to take place. But he didn't have the answers either. If he did, surely he would have foreseen the citizens' anger when he broke the news. Surely he would have guessed that they would want to choose a sacrifice democratically in the way that we citizens are accustomed to washing our hands of terrible deeds, and that his name would be at the top of the polls, and that the simultaneous vacancy of overseer and martyr would forever fuse the two positions here in Vault 11. But he didn't. He had the answers no more than any of us, and the records state that after the citizens discovered that the sacrificial chamber's password was his wife's Betty's first name and its door was unsealed so he could be offered as the first sacrifice, he walked into that room crying like a child. I can only wonder if there are no answers to be found, if we are just going along with this because we don't see another choice. Nonetheless, I still hold on to hope that we can find one. I urge you all to take the journey I took, to remember that it wasn't so long ago that we were ruled by our civility and our dignity, and that those were times when we didn't have to be quite so ashamed. And of course, with that password, now we can enter the sacrificial chamber in the Overseer's office and find the answer. And while we're going there, that is why I love this quest, and why this quest is just amazing. It is an amazing, beautiful, wonderful quest, because it's got all the classics to follow, which is, there's a really, really damn creepy, and it's so dark, this story. This story goes to some really damn dark places, but there's proper payoff in the sacrificial chamber. It's not just like, you know, a treasure room with a chest at the end of it. There is proper flipping payoff down there, which also finally makes the entrance hall make sense as well, because right now that still doesn't quite make sense. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. And here we are in the Overseer's office, and now finally we can get into her terminal. And with that, open the sacrificial chamber. Of course, it will rise up the same as many vaults do. We've seen that in Vault 101. We also saw it in Vault 30. Well, actually, we didn't see it rise up in Vault 34, I don't think. But in Vault 34, this was how you actually access the reactor.
Congratulations, Martyr. Your fantastic journey is only just beginning. Please proceed to the light. The light is calming and puts your mind at ease. Go to the light.
It's got a beautiful atmosphere, this place. The flash of light, the walking down the tunnel, walking into the lights.
Welcome. Please sit in the chair. The show is about to begin.
Sitting down in the chair with some empty bottles. A few people have already cleaned out the whiskey long ago.
The show requires that you sit in the chair.
Sadly, I don't actually have any mines, because it is actually a good idea to mine up this area. Yeah, spoiler warning, there's going to be some trouble yet.
It is absolutely essential that you sit in the chair.
I also like, by the way, that if you just don't sit in the chair, the voice coming out of the sky just gets increasingly insistent that you must sit in the chair. That's quite cute.
If you're here now, it means you've been offered up as a sacrifice so that your vault can continue to thrive. Currently, you may be feeling sad or angry. Perhaps you never got to have grandkids or to enjoy the pleasures of a fresh cigar. But march with your chin held high, soldier, and remember that each of us has an important role to play. For some people, their role might be to heal the sick. For others, it might mean they will drive a race car or fly a rocket ship And some of us are meant to forfeit our lives for the good of the people. Sure, it might not be as fun as driving a race car, but it's every bit as important. Let's take a moment to reflect on the moments that made your life worth living. Think about that time you kissed your steady girl for the first time under the bleachers at the big game. Or when you snuck out after curfew to catch that new flick that your parents wouldn't let you see because it was too scary. Boy, were they right. And who could forget when you met the love of your life? What a looker. These are just examples. Do you feel that feeling stirring in your chest as you think of these things? Good. What you are feeling is peace. You've led a great life. Living it has been its own reward. But it is only the beginning. Close your eyes now and imagine what joys await you in the next life. The afterlife. Can you see them? Good.
Right, get up as quickly as you can, because things are about to go horribly wrong here. In particular, yeah, the robots are coming. All of the walls crack open. Oh, they cracked open that way first. Oh, that's not fair. You flipping attacked me before I was even through. Screw you. Okay, dive the other way. Got it. Alright, this time I'm going to take these guys by surprise, damn it. Yeah, there you are. You haven't even seen me yet, you stupid bastards. In fact, actually, yeah, if you hide over here, you could actually stay hidden. And I could just toss grenades around the corner if I had any. That's kind of fun. Ah, there you are. Screw you. Oh, I've got beautiful beak down as a perk. Marvellous. I don't even know what that does. Just keep punching him. Keep punching him. Oh, this is a tough area, by the way. This is a tough area. Oh, there's more sentry bots over there. Got a lucky critical strike there. Oh, that's not going to be enough, though. That's not going to be enough. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah, no. It's a really tough fight, this. You know what? I'm actually going to go over some guns rather than try to punch the robots to death. You know, I've actually got the Sonic Emitter Robo Scorpion, which is very powerful and bonus damage versus robots, so I should probably just use that, really. Sneak attack, critical, and explosion against him. Lovely. And that also destroys that over there, which is good. There's one sentry bot over there. Just let you go. Oh, there's so many of them. And this gun is so on the flipping slow side. It's annoying. Right, go, 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 go. No, no, don't you shoot at me. 3 sentry bots. Not fun. Not as bad as it would have been in Fallout 4, but still pretty bad. Let's go for the criticals if we can. That was a critical. And if we just hit this 80%er, that's you dead as well. And then that's you. Oh, come on. Just the projectiles are so slow. Bonus damage versus the robots. Yep, that's good. That's a bit good. It's got the bonus damage at least. No, no, just screw you. Just, no. Just die. Stay still, you bastard. There we go. Right, stay in cover. I've already taken out the turret on this side. And last shot for the last turret. Should go down nice and easily. There it goes. The projectile on this thing is so slow. And I've leveled up too. I think that's actually the final level up of the game, in fact. And go on. Let's get... Well, we can't actually max out unarmed. I get it to 90. 90 seems good. But if I get it to 90... Oh, I'd love to have got... Oh, you know what? Fine. 18 is a nice number. Fine. 18 explosives, 90 unarmed. Why not, eh? And I don't get a perk, of course. Yeah, that's the downside of JSawyer. Because he took the level cap down to 35, that means you don't actually get, say, a perk on your final level, which is a little bit anticlimactic. Now, some of you better off... Oh, yes. Electron charge packs. Lovely. And that gives me all the ammo in the world for Elijah's jury-rigged Tesla cannon thingy. So we've cleared out this room. Of course, the robot's supposed to come in and kill you. And where do the corpses go? The corpses come over here. The game's laid out skeletons. This has all been very carefully thought through. In fact, you can vaguely estimate how many overseers this vault got through based on the number of skeletons lying around. But of course, we're not done yet. A lesser game would have just ended it off, and it still would have been a fantastic story. Better than, like, any of the vault stories in, say, Fallout 4 to mine. In fact, probably, even if it had ended here, it would still have been better than any of the vault stories in Fallout 3 or Fallout 4. But no, there's more. It's not just the case that people were sent down here until one person tried to abolish it, at which point the vault fell apart. There's a little bit more yet. There's another room through here beyond where all the robots were, and indeed yet more flipping skeletons, yet more corpses. Head through here, and we have got the Vault 11 mainframe. And the twist of the whole thing. One, we can override the lockdown. Lovely, so that lets us actually escape. We've also got a system recording and an automated response. I would, by the way, have just gained 1000 XP if I recall correctly, but I can't because I've actually just leveled up just from killing the robot, so therefore I don't get that. But I think I would have actually just got 1000 XP. Democracy in Action gives you a huge amount of experience, which is really, really cool indeed. The game does properly reward you. So let's start off with the system recording of Vault 11. This was the final recording made by the citizens of Vault 11 down to the mainframe.
Alright, I know you can hear me, so listen up. There's 5 of us left. 5 out of I don't know how many. So, it's over. We've talked and it's over. We're not gonna send anybody to die anymore. So shut off our water, our gases, or do whatever it is you're programmed to do. But we're done listening to you.
So eventually, finally, when so many people had already been sent down here to die, and then the remainder had killed each other, and all the skeletons we saw earlier around the sandbags, everyone else killed each other, and there were only 5 left. The same 5, of course, that we actually saw at the beginning of the level. Finally, they said, no, we're not sending another person down. There's only 5 left. Do whatever you can do. We can't be bothered. And this is the response that the Vault sent back up.
Congratulations, citizens of Vault 11. You have made the decision not to sacrifice one of your own. You can walk with your head held high, knowing that your commitment to human life is a shining example to us all. And to make that feeling of pride even sweeter, I have some exciting news. Despite what you were led to believe, the population of Vault 11 is not going to be exterminated for its disobedience. Instead, the mechanism to open the main vault door has now been enabled, and you can come and go at your leisure. But not so fast. Be sure to check with your overseer to find out if it's safe to leave. Here at Vault-Tec, your safety is our #1 priority.
Even by Vault-Tec standards, that's a dark flipping twist right there. And of course that pretty heavily recontextualizes that very first message we got too.
Are we really gonna do this? It's open, we could just leave.
I couldn't. Not after that.
We don't deserve to leave. A shining example. That's what it called us. But we did what we were supposed to. Not by a long shot. Anybody would have done what we did.
You ask me? That's exactly the problem. Now let's get on with this.
I'll go first. Wait. People should know what happened. They could learn from it. If there's anyone out there at all, I hope they never have to find out. Ready, Harry? Yeah. No, wait!
A shining example of humanity turns into an absolute condemnation of humanity. Oh, it's so dark, this Vault, and I just love it. It's my favourite Vault story in all of modern Fallout. So that's Vault 11 taken care of, and I should of course also acknowledge Vault 22, which we won't be going and taking a look at today because I've already done it. Vault 22 is another amazing Vault. I don't like it as much as Vault 11 because Vault 11 has just got the most incredible dark story, and I do like an incredible dark story in Fallout. But Vault 22 is possibly my second favourite Vault in all of Fallout history. Oh, you know what? Ooh. No, can I put any... Ooh. But then Tranquility Lane... You know what, I'm going to stop even trying to rank my vaults. I'm just going to say Tranquility Lane and Vault 22 and Vault 11 are all up there, quite frankly. But yeah, Vault 22 is fascinating because not only does it have a really interesting kind of backstory to it insofar as, like, you know, what they were originally intending to do, but I like how it also has an impact on the modern world. The modern world's taken note of what was going on in Vault 22 and has opinions on whether that technology could be used or abused or should be destroyed or saved or all sorts of bits and pieces. I like the fact there's 2 stories going on simultaneously. The old ancient nightmarish dystopia story where it all went wrong in the first place, and the modern current setting story where people are trying to figure out whether they can salvage it, for example. But let's also nip over to Vault 21, because Vault 21 is... Vault 21's not really a vault. In all fairness, this is the problem with New Vegas' vaults. You know, I was saying at the beginning, oh, New Vegas' vault's the weakest bit, and now I've just spent loads of time praising how amazing they are. That's because there's too many vaults. Like, aside from Vault 11 and Vault 22, there's a lot of kinda nothing vaults in... Hello. Oh, no, it's happened. It's flipping happened. This happens on occasion. I've seen this before where, yeah, the NCR finally decide they've had enough of you and actually start attacking you on the strip, which they're not supposed to do, but it does occasionally happen. So... None of them have got guns. Is anyone else going to join in? Are you all going to join in now? Are you all going to try and attack me? No, you're not. It's not the NCR soldiers. but all of the actual NCR troops have... Oh, you know, you've decided to go for me as well. Right. This happens on occasion. It's a bug. You know what? I think we're just going to reload. Right, hopefully that doesn't happen this time. But yeah, the problem is there's too many nothing vaults in New Vegas. And Vault 21, though it's got some fun stuff, is one of them. Oh no, I'm still in danger. I think the NCR have just decided this is it. They just want me to go down. Well, that's unfortunate. That means I need to take them out. You know what? You should have brought better guns. NCR Infamy Games. They started it! Sarah, I wanted to come and have a chat. Are you cool about the dead NCR? Hopefully you are. Now, the interesting thing about Vault 21, and I think this is unique, Vault 21 is, I believe, the only Vault that knew that Vault-Tec was doing a Vault experiment, but also seems 100% okay with that fact. They don't seem to care. So in the history of Vault 21 terminal, which is the public guest terminal, it does say, it is common knowledge that some vaults were built and organised with motives that went beyond their function as safeguards of our last great hope, the hope that humanity would survive even the worst catastrophe imaginable, nuclear war. So these guys knew that the vaults were being set up with, like, motives. Not just that they had, like, unique quirks to them, but actually there was some form of Vault-Tec motive. They don't kind of lay it out as a dystopia thing. And in all fairness, Vault 21's actually went pretty well. Vault 21's was simply decisions are going to be settled via gambling. That's how kind of big decisions are going to be taken. And it seemed to work out pretty well for them. They just got on well for hundreds of years. Then eventually Mr. House said, hey, you probably want to open up. Most people said no, some people said yes. But the small number of people that said yes took a really big risky gamble and actually happened to just win by sheer fluke. Because that's what happens when you make every decision based on gambling. Sometimes the kind of the minority opinion is going to win. So as a result, that is indeed what came to pass. They opened up the vault and House basically filled most of it with concrete, which everyone pretends to be okay with, but in Sarah's private correspondence, she basically says she's not keen on the fact. Anyway, Sarah, I've got some stuff for you, because Sarah wanted me to acquire vault suits for her, and I've just picked up a bloody ton of them. So, how many have I just given her? I've just given her 22, and I'd given her a few already. It's 30 that something good happens.
Hey, stranger. Where you been, huh? I missed you.
I'm not sure whether she's speaking to me right now like she loves me or she thinks I'm her dog. And, we have indeed got far enough down the route with Sarah. Right, so if you pass, I think it's a speech check of 65, then 75, then you give her enough vault suits, then you can indeed sleep with Sarah. She is seduced by you giving her vault suits. That's literally it.
You're kicking me into gear, huh? Well, I think I'll drive my chassis over to your pad. Wait for me down there, and don't forget the oil.
But rather disappointingly, even though that's a really cool setup, that, like, you know, big decisions can be made by gambling, you can't gamble down here. There's no overseer anymore. The people in this place are now just guests because it's been converted into a hotel. So, you know, wouldn't it be really, really cool if, like, you know, say high luck characters could come down here and by virtue of being really good at gambling, like, rise really high up politically inside Vault 21? Wouldn't that be really, really damn cool? Or, like, high sneak characters, if you didn't have high luck, could, like, cheat by putting cards up their sleeve, and there'd be games of chance, and luck checks would be really, really high up, and therefore presumably rich people, it would be kind of functioning like an oligarchy, because people who were good at gambling, there's lots of money, would be kind of more likely to win, and there's those are really interesting ways it could go, but Vault 21 just doesn't do anything. It's where Sarah lives, and Sarah's got some fun stuff going on, but tragically, yeah, nothing else really happens in this vault, which is a shame. Just go to your room, by the way, which is right next to Sarah, so no one actually explicitly states. If you never bought a room, no one actually says. Then you'll freeze momentarily, Sarah will come into your room, lay down on the bed, fade to black, and you are assumed to have slept with Sarah. And you become automatically well rested. Lovely. But yeah, this is your room. It's the one literally just over to the left of Sarah's room. But if you've never bought the room, the game doesn't tell you that. She just says, hey, go to your room, even if she's never introduced you to your room before. Wake her up and she'll put the vault suit back on immediately.
That was something else. I look forward to the next ride. Once I recover, you monster.
And Sarah certainly seems impressed by your sexual prowess. Marvellous. Can also just take a minute to say how I really appreciate how the vault layout in New Vegas makes so much more sense than in Fallout 3. Because in Fallout 3, vaults are just all over the shop. Like, say, Vault 108 is just basically out in the middle of nowhere, and Vault 87 is just basically pretty much in the middle of nowhere too. They're just, like, scattered all over the place. In Fallout New Vegas, there are no vaults in the south of the map. The vaults instead are basically in a big circle around New Vegas. There's Vault 34 over here, and Vault 22 over here, and Vault 3 here, and Vault 19's down this way. All the vaults are basically just arranged. I guess Vault 11 is probably the furthest out, but even then, it's not that far out. It's still, like, you know, relatively close by to New Vegas itself. And that makes sense, because I think we can reasonably assume that people paid large amounts of money to go into a vault. For example, in Fallout 4, it's a fairly big deal that in Vault 95, they were offering free places to school children, and in Vault 111, they were offering free places to people who've been part of the armed forces and their families. That was deemed to be a big deal, and I'm pretty sure in Nuka World, at the end of the Nuka exhibition, there's a big thing about how you try and, like, you try and actually sell people to buying a place in the vault. So we can reasonably assume that not only did the vaults do horrible experiments to people, people paid a really, really hefty amount of money up front to Vault Tech to actually be the guinea pigs. So that's fun. So, of course, where would you put the vault? You would put them around a major city, just kind of cycled around the outskirts. You wouldn't necessarily put them right in the centre, then maybe just like one in the centre, like Vault 21, just so like people have one that's really close at hand, even if they kind of work really centrally. But for the most part, you put them around the outskirts of a city. So, you know, they're close by and accessible, so large numbers of people with large amounts of money can actually buy places in them, but the real estate to actually buy them and dig underneath them is still relatively cheap. It just makes so much sense that the vaults are in a big circle around New Vegas. It's been so beautifully thought out. Now, I suspect next up, we may have to murder a fair few more NCR and robots yet, because the strips decided to turn on me. They're not supposed to, of course. The rules are no one's allowed to actually attack anyone else on the strip, though I suppose these guys aren't using guns. They are using cattle prods. But regardless, yeah, they're not supposed to turn on you. Even if you actually kind of get yourself declared a terrorist, they're supposed to not be able to attack you on the strip. They can attack you everywhere else, but not here. And I suppose, you know, given I killed House, I've got no one to blame but myself that order on the strip's breaking down. Oh, yeah, the robots are totally hostile to me too, aren't they? Are they? No, they're not. The robots are, for the moment at least, not hostile. Right, get out the biggest gun I've got. Alright? Because you are going to be hostile to me in a second, aren't you? You're about to start this. Not my fault. Do not attack me. He started it. Are you sure you want to run at me with a cattle prod, okay? Because I'm an NCR. I don't have these rules about weapons I can and can't carry on the strip. I can just carry this thing. Alright, fine, you were warned. Yep, you're going for me, aren't you? No, don't let him attack, don't let him attack. Fine, screw you. Right, now just snipe off the rest of the robots. They're going to come at me. I'm into caution so they can't see me anymore. Everyone else is just wandering around, not really caring about this. No, don't let him get too close because he will fire rockets. They seem to struggle to target you at too long range, so you can just take them apart. And this thing has 0 spread. And I think it's got no problems with its range, so in which case, I would say robots, screw you. And I'm unpredictable! I just brought out a massive energy weapon bazooka onto the strip and started shooting everyone. The strip has decided I am unpredictable. Marvellous. That guy is a vague concept from over here somewhere, but that's a shame because I'm just going to snipe him off from 10 million miles away. I love this gun. 0 spread guns are the best thing. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to get out of here because more keep flipping spawning in from somewhere. I would have thought I'd killed them all by now, but they just keep coming from bloody somewhere. Yeah, you get given the Vault 21 jumpsuit, which Doc Mitchell says was originally his wife's. So once you've visited Vault 21, you can head back to Good Springs, speak to Doc Mitchell, and he'll actually tell you more of his story, which is kind of cool. So just dig through his options and you'll find I saw your old vault on the strip, Vault 21, right? Mr. House filled it with concrete.
Yep, he sure did. Wanted himself a hotel, and to make sure once he made the change, there'd never be any going back. We didn't get a say. I don't know how you'd argue with a fella like that anyways. Everywhere and nowhere all at once. So, just like that, we was all homeless. Went our separate ways, and that was all she wrote.
And is that when you settled out here with your wife, Doc Mitchell?
Eventually, we made our way out here, but, well, when folks spend their lives in isolation, sometimes that ain't the best of things for learning to fight off germs. We was going to California, but Good Springs was as far as we got. After she passed, wasn't no reason to keep going. I stayed so I could keep close to her.
There you are. Doc Mitchell actually has a bit of a tragic backstory with the wife that gets very briefly mentioned, because of course he gives you her vault suit. You think actually he wouldn't be so willing to part with it under the circumstances, but I guess a lot of time has passed. But yeah, he left the vault. They were going to go to California, but sadly with weakened immune systems from spending their lives in the vault, when they first came out, his wife passed away in Good Springs, is presumably buried in the cemetery, and that's why he set up shop here. Now, some of the vaults we've already passed by aren't really worth revisiting. Vault 34 is a really, really interesting vault. I've never been quite sure whether I like Vault 34 or not. I like the fact that it is actually one of the hardest vaults in Fallout. It's horrendously difficult. The security ghouls towards the end of that, and the actual overseer and the amount of rats just make that ludicrously difficult. I like the fact that it's a real challenge. But the downside is there's not really much of a story in there, to be honest. In fact, I'm not really sure there was a vault experiment there at all. Possibly if there was a vault experiment, it was if we give people lots of guns, what happens? And as it turns out, it's people like having guns, and then if you try and take the guns away, they get angry. I guess it was just like the Second Amendment vote or something. But yeah, of course, like, the nice thing about Vault 34, even though it doesn't really have much of a story aside from the reactor went wrong, is more that Vault 34 is the vault that you hear about from people who left it, which is a really interesting alternative way to do a vault. So you've got Chris Havison over at the Repcon test site. He was actually, well, actually, he's kind of fun, because of course, he left because he thought he was turning into a ghoul, but he was actually just going bold. But after he left, everyone who he left behind did turn into a ghoul. He was the only one who didn't turn into a ghoul, despite being the reactor specialist. Though I suppose there's also an argument for saying Vault 34 went wrong because the reactor went wrong, and Chris was the reactor technician and left because he feared he was turning into a ghoul when he actually wasn't. So maybe if he'd still been there, they could have sorted it out. So maybe Chris doomed them all, who knows? And then you've got the really interesting kind of, history of the mural that you get told by the boomers. Oh, here's a fun one. I can't show this off to you because I made the alternative decision. But when you're doing hard luck blues and you make the decision whether to vent the radiation or not, i.e. to save the small number of people trapped in the actual reactor, or to ensure the sharecropper farms of the NCR are able to keep being fertile and keep producing food, which I decided to do because, it clearly saves the largest number of lives in the long run. If you actually decide to go down the route where you release the people from the vault, you can actually go and find them. They're over in the Aerotech Office Park in Suite 300, and there's a named one, Horowitz, I think is his name, where if you tell him that you were the one that saved him, he thanks you, and he says, oh, we're so thrilled to explore the world, it's going to be wonderful, yay! So that's nice, but other than that, Vault 34 is just a really difficult to get through vault full of really tough ghouls. So I've never been quite sure what I feel about that one. And Vault 3 is another vault that's just a nothing vault. It's just a vault with ghouls in it. That one is presumably also definitely a control vault, because it just basically, well, it worked. That's the interesting thing about it. And that's what's disappointing about it versus, say, Vault 81 over in Fallout 4, that it actually worked. It was a vault that was just supposed to be locked away and people were supposed to stay in there. And they did. They stayed in there for centuries. And then eventually something broke down. They opened up the doors and they got murdered by fiends. And now the vault's full of fiends. And that's literally it. And that just strikes me as really disappointing. That just strikes me as really bloody disappointing. But yeah, it's a real shame there isn't something more interesting going on in Vault 3. But it is just a vault that was working, and then it opened itself up because it was communicated with from the outside, and then raiders murdered them all. That's literally it. Again, it's just a disappointing nothing vault. There's good loot in it and whatever, it's just a shame the story... Well, there isn't really one. Hello there. Oh, I've just got the beautiful beatdown perk again. Oh, I must have picked that up previously when I was beating up the robot, then I lost it because I died. Right, well, I've now got beautiful beatdown. And that reduces the AP cost of unarmed attacks in VATS. Well, that's fun. And as we just punch our way through some powder gangers, that leaves only one vault remaining in the game. Vault 19, another vault which has the distinction of being there. It is most definitely a vault that exists. It has one cool thing about it, which isn't even anything to do with the vault, to be honest, which is it has a really awesome secret entrance, which I wish more of the vaults had, which is, you saw a little bit of in Fallout 3, but barely at all. But yeah, you've got Vault 19 here. Well, admittedly, it is kind of a little bit disappointing, actually, it even says Vault 19. I think it shouldn't say it here. If this was just parking lot 19, that'd be absolutely fine. But no, it flags that it's a vault, because this is a secret vault hidden underneath this little booth here, just in the middle of a car park, which is kind of cool. But yeah, you can actually nip down into the vault from here. And we'll just crack open the vault from the outside. To be honest, that is the most interesting thing about this vault. This vault has a really interesting setup, but it doesn't go anywhere or do anything or have any impact, like, whatsoever, really, on the story inside the vault. That makes me think this vault was gonna be bigger, but they kind of ran out of time because New Vegas was developed pretty bloody quickly. It's also interesting that it is full of powder gangers, but even if you're hated by the powder gangers and the one outside just attack me on sight, the ones inside don't actually care. So they kind of exist in their own weird little unique faction. Because what you're supposed to have here is 2 overseers, and the vault kind of divided into 2 and separated by colour. So we've got here, yeah, escaped convicts. These are, I suppose these are actually escaped convicts rather than powder gangers, so I suppose it's fine. But even if the escaped convicts in the prison were attacking you on sight, these guys just don't seem to care, to be honest. One vaguely interesting thing is if you go through the medical area, you'll find a bunch of patient records dotted around. This patient often misinterprets others' actions as hostile. He perceives friendly interactions with nurses as patronising. We've also noticed that the longer other patients remain in contact with this patient, the more ready they are to act aggressively towards him due to his defensive nature, thus reinforcing his perceived hostility. We've got another person brought in by the police. This is the 9th occurrence of such, and we are now seeking extended residence for the patient within our facility. And patient came in claiming to be insane, claiming he would often get the feeling of being outside himself. The feeling was so intense that it would cause the patient to be off balance during episodes. Navigation through the clinic often difficult for him to achieve without causing accidents. So, some unusual symptoms there. Oops, sorry, there is indeed another one there as well. Came in seeking treatment for panic attacks. Patient claims to often experience moments of extreme terror out of nowhere and that they wake her from her sleep. So, nothing major, no obvious things. Something was going on here, but it's not immediately obvious what it was. And we see here also we have got the red sector door and the blue sector door right here. So the vault was divided in 2. But there's very little payoff to this vault. Very, very little payoff at all. In fact, it's really unclear to me where they wanted to go with this at all. There's 2 solutions, understandably, depending on which overseer's office you go into. So let's start off over here on the right, and we'll meet a character that's mentioned many, many times, but it's very easy to actually flipping miss. We have finally got Samuel Cook, the man who was actually largely responsible from the breakout of the NCRCF, who gets mentioned a lot there, but then they never tell you where he is, so it's very, very easy to miss him.
Who the hell are you? I know you weren't one of the inmates.
You can tell that he used to be one of the powder gangers because he's basically got the same voice as most of them.
There's some fire geckos in the lower levels of the vault. We need to get them gone so we can get to the sulfur. You go clear them out for us, and there'll be some caps for you.
Hang on, why exactly do you need sulfur?
Explosives. Bombs. Big fucking bombs. You gonna help us or not?
That is some powder ganger logic right there. So you speak to him and he'll give you the red sector keycard, and why can't we be friends begins. Head around the other side and instead let's speak to Lem.
If you can find a way to cut off access to the sulfur in the caves below the vault, I've got some caps waiting for you.
But why would you want to do that, Philip?
Cook is planning to use the sulfur to make bigger explosives. Will you check out the caves and see if there's anything you can do? Without access to the sulfur, he'll lose what influence he has left with the men here.
So there we are, we've now got both of the key cards and the 2 options to deal with that quest. But now we can get into both sets of quarters, which is why it's nice to speak to both people, so you can get into both areas. So of course, yeah, the thing that was going on here was they deliberately tried to divide the vault into 2, the reds and the blues. And if we go over to the terminals, we can learn a tiny bit more. So a message from the Overseer. Greetings, resident. We regret to inform you that there is a problem with one of our water purification filters. We assure you that we are working diligently to fix this problem. However, until the filter has been fixed, please try to keep water usage limited and report directly to the clinic if you begin to feel ill in any way. So that might just be generic mechanical breakdowns that these vaults seem to suffer from, especially when it came to the water supplies. Or it could be something a little bit more. And a personal note from the owner of the terminal, I can hear noises through the intercom sometimes. Dad says he can't hear it, but I can. It's really high pitched, and sometimes I can hear a voice, but I can't make out the words. Mom says it's my imagination, that I shouldn't talk about it. It might worry people, but I've talked to some of the other kids. They say they've heard it too. So the vault divided into 2, potentially something in the water supply, potentially some form of subliminal messaging through the speakers. I haven't been able to sleep lately. One of the blues, he's always creeping around by the security door, and I think he's trying to get in, says this terminal. So suspicions between the reds and the blues start to flare up, understandably, indeed almost certainly by design. I've been asking around, there's no reason for those filters to fail. It must have been sabotage. There's a rumour going around that one of the Reds did it. It wouldn't surprise me. Whenever I walk by a group of them in the cafeteria, they all start whispering. I bet they're plotting what to do next. Wait, hang on. This is in the red area. What are you... Okay, some people got a bit confused. Some of the blues caused some trouble in the clinic today. I bet they were stealing drugs. I've heard the vents coming on late at night. Others have too. I bet they're using the drugs to poison us, stealing supplies from the clinic and using them to kill us all. Followed immediately by, no, I know the truth. The commotion at the clinic, it was a trick. The doctor must be giving them the drugs, and she must be in it. She never leaves their office. It must be because of the poison being pumped through the vents. Her office must be the one that's safe. So yeah, people started getting twitchy, paranoid, crazy. Kind of matches up with what we were hearing from the symptoms actually in the clinic itself. Meanwhile, over in the blue sector quarters, I've been reading the bulletin boards for months now. I believe we have a spy among us. One of the reds pretending to be a blue. They're using the bulletin boards to communicate. I believe they want me to see it. I've noticed one of the lights flickering past the door in the red's hallway. I believe it's got to be Morse code. From what I can tell, it's an SOS. Ooh, suspicion's getting more and more ridiculous. I couldn't sleep a few nights ago, so I stayed up reading. Around 1:30 in the morning, the vent above my bed began to push out more air than usual. It lasted for about 5 minutes, then turned off. I didn't think much of it at the time, but I had trouble falling asleep again last night. Once again, around 1:30 AM, the vents turned on for about 5 minutes, then turned off. I've been getting headaches. I think someone is poisoning us. I've been up every night this week, and night after night, an extra boost of air comes through the vents. It lasts for about 5 minutes and then turns off. I spoke with one of the neighbours. He said he noticed the same thing in his room as well. We made a report to the maintenance officer. He informed us the system was running perfectly and that there was nothing to worry about. I don't believe him. Maybe he's in on it. So this all probably sounds quite interesting. You know, there's a fun mystery, there's maybe sabotage, there's something in the doctor, there's a conspiracy, there's the vault divided in two and people starting to hate each other. And it doesn't go anywhere. Like, I have been through this vault many times trying to find some evidence of it going somewhere more interesting, but it doesn't go anywhere at all. And very annoyingly, like, despite the fact a big deal was made of the doctor's terminal, none of the doctor's terminals actually work. It's just those patient files that you can find dotted around. But did they turn each other? We don't really know, because there's no skeletons or blood or anything. So, what actually happened in this vault? When did people turn each other and why? We don't really know. So, that's just, yeah, it just feels incomplete. It really feels like they were setting up a bigger, more interesting plot, but just they never actually wrote an ending for it for whatever reason. Anyway, let's go and resolve this for Samuel Cook, because I have almost no explosives knowledge, so he's actually the only route I can actually complete this with. There are a few more messages down in the actual kind of living quarters where you're clearing out the geckos for Samuel Cook, but they don't really add anything. This one's quite fun. I saw one of the guys in the mess hall pull a bottle cap off a Sunset sarsaparilla and then run to his room. I knew he was hiding something, so I broke into his room, and when he wasn't there, I saw the bottle cap. It had a blue star underneath it. I think he's been marked for something, but I can't figure out what. All I know is I want that bottle cap. You know what, reading these now, perhaps I'm being a little bit harsh in this vault. Maybe I quite like that it's quite clever, how like the game never explicitly states, hey, they were just kind of clearly going mad and they were blatantly paranoid and none of this is in any way true or feasible. But I suppose, like, you know, when it gets to things like people would be marked for greatness by particular bottle caps, that's the point where you realise, oh, maybe we shouldn't take any of the other accusations seriously. And speaking of which, we have got the bottle cap right here as well. I wonder what his opinion was on the bottle cap he found. What does it mean? Why was there a blue star under my bottle cap? Are the reds behind this? Is this part of their mind control? They must be making me see things now, things that shouldn't be there. The star shouldn't be there. Why do I see a star? It won't go away no matter how long I close my eyes. It won't go away. I want the star to go away! So yes, the star was driving him mad as well. But yeah, if you want to, you can just blow up the entire cave, but that needs 50 explosives to actually do correctly. And if you just want to do it Philip Lem's way, you actually need 60 explosives. So they just the right amount of explosives to block off the caves. And yep, every single fire gecko is a quest marker, by the way. There's a few of them. I mean, if you have the explosive skill, it is much easier to go and deal with the rocks. It's this special rock right here. But sadly, I didn't have C4. There's loads of C4 actually just lying around in the vault in order to destroy the caves, and you need the explosive skill as well, which I do not have. Yeah, you need explosive skill 60 for destroying the caves, or just destroying the entire vault, which you failed the quest to get no XP for, so there's no reason to do that unless you're just a sociopath. That actually needs explosive skill of 50, so I can't do that anyway, so we have to just kill all of these guys. One thing I do like, by the way, is if you've actually snuck up on a gecko, if you get a shot on it that's actually a sneak attack with the robo-scorpion thing, it's guaranteed to be an explosion, which looks seriously badass. I like doing that a lot. Though bear in mind you will probably cripple all of your own limbs pretty quickly because the explosives do have friendly fire on them. So clear out the geckos and head back upstairs. There's a shortcut via a lift you can get to here. Then you can use this terminal to crack open the seat in the overseer's office that Philip Lem is in. Though he doesn't actually seem to care or notice. So yeah, we've made it down there. We've come back up. There's been some more mad raving, but the plot with the actual people didn't really go anywhere. There's a tiny bit of closure I'd forgotten about here on this terminal in Lem's overseer's office. Which if we go over to the data here, fake medical records. Paranoia must be induced through non-violent and non-chemical means in order for the experiment to be considered a success. So we know what the Vault experiment was. It's let's divide people up and deliberately try and create paranoia, but not through chemicals. So therefore, we know that medical records that were fake were being created purely for the sake of when people saw them, then they'd get paranoid. We know the gas wasn't real, except possibly it was. Maybe it was the sulfur, so the experiment was debunked. But then it goes somewhere else entirely. A group of technicians have been assigned to run the reactor. They're currently researching methods to improve the reactor efficiently. The reactor floor is fully staffed and completely self-sustained. The only access between the vault proper and the reactor level is through the elevator hidden under the desk in this room. Though you can get down there by virtue of, well, you can go through the sulfur caves elsewhere in New Vegas in the overworld, or there's just a hole that you kind of drop through, which is how we got there in the first place. So yeah, there was actually an entirely separate subplot involving like an efficient reactor going on downstairs in the basement. Where does that plot go? That plot also doesn't go anywhere. There's nothing in the basement that really gives you any closure for that either. So yeah, this is just a really weird vault. It feels like there's loads of really interesting ideas, but none of them really get fleshed out particularly well. And then all of them sort of fizzle out without really doing anything. I mean, maybe the joke is that like the vault was designed to be like splitting people up into like the reds and the blues, and then they all died off, though again we don't really know what happened to the original inhabitants because there's no real confirmation what eventually happened. There's no bodies or anything, so I don't know, something happened to them originally, and now these powder gangers have moved in and they've accidentally been split up in terms of Lem versus Cook. So the joke is like anyone who lives here, they always end up splitting up, and the security cameras don't go anywhere either. There's loads of security cameras that blink around, but they don't do anything, so it's just a really weird bloody vault. Anyway, Cook, we've done it your way today.
I want you to head to Red Rock Canyon north of here. Find Papa Khan and ask him if he'd allow the powder gangers to join up.
Any reason you want to do that, Samuel?
There aren't enough of us here to make a real impact on the NCR, and the Khans probably hate the NCR more than we do. Strength in numbers, they say. So will you talk to Papa Khan on our behalf?
Sure, why not? The Khans are allied to Caesar's Legion at the moment, so let's strengthen their numbers. Though sadly, it doesn't make any difference. It's a little bit of a sad and unfortunate mission in the end game. If you keep the Khans allied to Caesar's Legion, they will show up to help you in the final Legion battle. But if you get these guys allied into the Khans, as far as I'm aware, that doesn't mean they show up. Like, no extra people with, like, explosives show up in the final battle, which would have been really cool if a bunch of, like, these guys had shown up with massively powerful dynamite or something and they'd actually helped out in the final battle. As far as I'm aware, that doesn't happen. In the middle of the night, Papa Khan's gone to bed, but luckily you can just break into the back of his house. Excuse me, don't pay attention to me. Man, I wish I turned on my light before we did this. Yeah, he doesn't mind the fact that he's actually got both his doors hard locked and he's on his own and he's asleep and you just approach him. If you just break into his room, he totally doesn't acknowledge that, which is kind of fun. Yeah, I've come with an offer of alliance for you.
And what benefit would this alliance give us?
Men with lots of big explosives?
Well, now, the armory could always use more firepower. Very well. Tell the powder gangers we accept their offer. However, they would still have to pass the initiation rite to truly join our ranks.
I'm sure they'll be fine about that. Now, we could go and speak to Samuel, but first, if we check in Lem's office, yes, indeed, there is now just a pile of giblets and gore and whatever. Things not looking so hot for Philip Lem.
Anything from Papa Khan?
You can join, but you'll still have to pass the rituals.
I'd rather not, but fair enough. We'll do it.
And that's Why Can't We Be Friends completed. I think you're allowed to speak to him about Philip Lem, actually.
Good to see you.
No, sadly, I can't find a speech option for that. I could have sworn you could speak to him and he'll just openly acknowledge he had Lem murdered because it was more convenient for him. But never mind, that's Vault 19. It's an odd vault. Like, I can see how it could be a really, really good vault, but there's just, yeah, it just doesn't quite fit together. There's too many moving parts and not one of them actually gets properly fleshed out, which is a shame. Still, out we go, and let's leave the vault door as we found it, nice and tightly locked up. Beautiful. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is all of the vaults of Fallout New Vegas. 2 amazing ones, and then a whole bunch of, well, ones of varying levels of disappointment. Maybe I've been a little bit harsh to Vault 19. I suppose you could say, like, it's nice that it's relatively subtle, how you can vaguely tease out what happened. But to be honest, I think even if you do read everything in the vault, it's really, really bloody unclear what did actually happen there. It's very, very unclear indeed. So I think it's a rushed vault. I feel like maybe they wanted to do more, they just didn't have time. It feels like a casualty of New Vegas having to be rushed out relatively quickly, which is a shame indeed. Together with Vault 3 and Vault 21 being kind of nothing vaults. But Vault 11 is just one of my favourite vaults. It's definitely my favourite vault story. Maybe I prefer Tranquility Lane, just because there's a bit more actual gameplay in it as an actual vault. But it is my favourite vault story in all of New Vegas. That is most certainly true. And next time, ladies and gentlemen, we are back into the main plot. I think we are going to go and do Arizona Killer. I'm going to start walking, kind of, you know, doing the slow exit walk over in this direction, because I just saw a Deathclaw over there. So I'm just going to do my slow exit walk more in this direction towards safety. That definitely seems like a better idea. I think we're going to go and do Arizona Killer. Arizona Killer, a fantastic quest with loads of different ways you can do that, and lots of fun script as well. Like, there's a load of fun little Easter eggs and stuff buried away in that quest. So I will be looking to show all of that off next week, ladies and gentlemen. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been many a TrueNet, and this has been Fallout New Vegas Survival Mode, visiting all of the vaults of New Vegas. Thank you very much, and goodbye. I just found a laundry room, also a chainsaw, for those particularly stubborn stains. Am I going to hipster heaven? Is there going to be infinite granola? Wait, I've got a ghost fedora? Did I just collect a giant ghost water heater? Food please, I'm a cat. Find out if Iris is safe. I'm gonna be honest, I've kind of failed that one.